We need strong leaders. So many times I see companies, businesses promoting good employees, promoting some of their best employees into leadership positions. And then they ultimately fail. And we wonder, what happened? They were so good. They were good at what they did. Well, the problem is, it's not necessarily the person's fault. It gets down to a failure of the organization. One, promoting somebody who wasn't ready to be a leader or somebody who doesn't have leadership skills. They're good at what they do. And that's why they're good at what they do, because they're good at what they do. We just assume that if they're good at their job, they can be a good leader. It's not always the case. Can be. And that's where the failure of the organization, the failure of the business comes in. They didn't make sure that that person was ready for leadership. They didn't make sure that they had the right training, the right skills, the right support to be a leader. Because moving from an employee position, a good employee position, to one of leadership is a different role. It takes a different skill set, a different mindset. And when a business does that, when an organization does that, takes their star employee and promotes them into a leadership role and then just says, go forth and prosper, it's not fair to the new leader. You're not doing them any favors. It's not fair. And then we create this revolving door of leadership in and out, because we think if we just promote our good employees to be leaders of the team, leaders of the department, leaders of the business, leaders of the committee, whatever it is, we create this revolving door because they're not ready. We end up with staff that are angry because these people don't know how to lead. They don't know how to be in charge. We create friction. We create all this turnover and angst and anxiety among the team and in the business when you put somebody in a leadership position who doesn't have the skills to do that. So leaders need support. Even good leaders, even really good, strong leaders need support, because you know what? It can be lonely at the top. When you're at the top and all of the decisions fall on you ultimately, all of the accountability and responsibility weighs heavy on you. Very few people understand what that's like because they've never been there. They've never had to do that. They see it from afar and go, oh, that can't be that hard. Well, sometimes it's really hard to be the leader because everyone's counting on you. When times get tough, when times get hard, everybody turns and looks to the leader. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? And so leaders, first-time leaders, long-time leaders, experienced leaders, inexperienced leaders, any kind of leader, they need support in order to achieve and to be successful in what they do. You know, fear of failure will kill any organization. And it will freeze the organization. It will stop them in their tracks. It'll keep them from moving forward. But fear of failure will also kill a leader. When a leader steps into failure blindly, because, you know, failure on a level is not a horrible, it can be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a horrible thing as long as we are learning along the way. Now, you can't just do failure after failure after failure and expect to continue to be in this leadership position. But sometimes we take actions that will fail, and just stepping into those blindly without a thought as to what am I going to do if this doesn't work out right is a risk that no leader should take. You shouldn't just jump into a project, jump into a direction, a course of action without knowing what you're going to do when things go wrong. And it's because leaders make rash decisions for several reasons. And that's usually where leadership goes wrong. That's usually where you find leaders getting into trouble and failing. And that's where you find businesses failing, because they have leaders who truly don't have the skills and don't have the knowledge on how to be a good leader. So a leader will often make these rash decisions that end up in failure. One, because they just want to show their stuff. They want to show that they're in charge. That's the worst kind of leader you can have. Somebody who gets the role and goes, I'm in charge now. Everybody's going to do what I say. Let's go forth and do this. Because they think they know it all. They think they can make it happen, and they want to prove to everybody that they've got the stuff that it takes to be in charge. They want to be important. It's an attitude that will kill a leader in a heartbeat, is this attitude of, I know what I'm doing, I'm in charge, I'm the important one. Leaders also jump into rash decisions in order to bolster their ego. It's kind of the same thing. They do it to bolster their ego. They like being the boss. They like telling everybody, I'm the boss. They like people calling them the boss. When I was growing up in college, we called it BMOC, Big Man on Campus. It's the guy who wanted to be the big man on campus. Let everybody know it, that they're the important one, that they're the boss. They like to show off. And so leaders will make these rash decisions because they want to be the boss. They want everybody to know they're the boss, and they want to show off for everybody that they're making it happen. Another reason leaders take these risks is to cover over some impending failure. If things aren't going right, if things aren't going well, and the leader sees it coming and sees that things aren't going to go well and that things are going to go off the rails, they will make bad decisions. If they don't have the right information, if they don't have the right support and supporting network around them, they will make bad decisions in order to cover over what's coming. And hopefully they can cover it up and get past it or make it not so bad. That's called a lack of integrity. And leaders can't survive if they have a lack of integrity. And another reason, a fourth reason that they make these rash decisions is to protect their butt. It's kind of the same thing, to cover over an impending failure and to cover their butt. They like to pass the buck. A leader who passes the buck and not accepts full accountability and responsibility for what their team did, it's not a leader. They're either one, a dictator, or a chicken. Because leadership isn't easy. Leadership's hard. Leadership can be lonely. Leadership can be wonderful. But you have to be willing to be accountable for what happens and take the responsibility. They make these rash decisions not only to protect their butt, but to make themselves look good. And a very poor leader will accuse their team of screwing it up so that they can look good and not doing what they said and make themselves look good. Those are not good leaders. You know, many leaders are out on an island all by themselves, trying to figure it out. Because, like I said, a lot of people don't understand what it's like to have all the responsibility and the accountability laid up on your shoulders. And sometimes it's very lonely, and you can be on this island out there all by yourself trying to figure it out, and you will either sink or you will swim, one or the other. Without a strong leader, a business is at risk. And today, in today's economy, you can't take the risk of having a leader that will put you at risk. You can't take the risk of not having a strong leader. A strong leader needs to be honest. They need to have advisors. They need to have confidential advisors. They need to have mentors who can help them along, because yeah, you need to put potential leaders through a training process to learn how to be good leaders. But sometimes we have to give them training when they're in the trenches. And they need some good, strong, honest, competent advisors around them to help them see from different angles what's going on. A strong group of advisors or these mentors can help a leader see their situation from all different perspectives, because everybody comes to life, everybody comes to business with different ideas, different perspectives, different viewpoints. And if they have a good group of strong advisors, then they can ask the tough questions. They can see the problems from new angles. They can offer suggestions that maybe they would never have thought of themselves, because either one, the advisors have been there before, or because of their background and their history, they just see it differently. They can guide them to make good choices. They can support them in the choices they make, and to support them when things get hard, and encourage them when things get hard. We shouldn't let leaders fail. Don't let your leaders fail. If you run a business and you have leaders in a department, you have leaders on a team, if you run an organization and you have committees and you're putting leaders in charge of these committees, don't let them fail. If you're running a community and you're putting people in charge, don't let these leaders fail. You need to make sure they have mentors. You need to make sure they have a group of advisors around them who can guide them and help them and encourage them and support them. I suggest you get them in a mastermind small group of powerful leaders, people who've been there before, or people who are learning and growing. Even if you put a mastermind group together of people who are growing in their leadership abilities, they each come to that with different viewpoints and perspectives and can help each other, because we all see the world differently. We all have different experiences in our lives. We need strong leaders. We need strong leaders in our businesses. We need strong leaders in our communities, in our states. We need strong leaders in this country. We need strong leaders in every church, every organization. And you can't just put somebody in that position without getting them the support and the training and the skills that they need to be a very strong and effective leader. So look for mentors. Truly find a mastermind group they can be in, and get them the support and the network that they need in order to grow and to succeed as a strong leader. And if you're that person, you need to ask your company, your business, your community, your board to give you the opportunity to be in a group like that, to be among people, to find a group of advisors and supporters who you can bounce ideas off on. Because if you only use the people around you, they're all focused on the same thing. So you need a group of people with different perspectives and different experiences. And then you'll grow into a tremendous leader. Or you'll find out that leadership isn't for you. That's okay. I'd rather have a leader figure out this isn't for them than to get to a point where they fail because we put them there and we allow them to fail. That's horrible. I've seen it happen, and it's not good for them, and it's not good for the organization. So, support your leaders. Grow your leaders. We need good, strong leaders. Make sure they have the support system around them. I'm Mark Schinnerer. This is your Sunday Strategy. Beginning of another week. Have a great day.